Hopefully everybody's having themselves a nice little Wednesday. Excited for this week. First game in the NFC North. Football team's got to, stick with what has really worked early on in this football season, which is preparation, making sure we're dialed in, and we'll be ready to go compete against a really, really good team. Matt's doing a great job. Jeff Hafley, Basach, all those guys are some of the best coaches in our league. So we've got to make sure we prepare our team to go compete like crazy. I want to highlight Jonathan Grenard, NFC Player of the Week defensively, first of his career. Really cool to see him making such an impact here early on. But go fire away.
Kevin, what stands out to you about the way Minneapolis shifted the offense with Malik Willis and looking at?
Yeah, they're, regardless of who's played quarterback for them, they're one of the best running attacks in the league, number one in the league right now. But I think it speaks to Matt and Steno and their coaching staff to be able to put together plans and really reinvent themselves in some ways. But at the same time, you give them a lot of credit because they're staying true to how they want to play. I think their O-line is a really, really good group. They get off the rock, great group of tight ends. And, Josh Jacobs has shown up, and Wilson's a good player too. So going to be a real challenge for us. As far as today, you guys know we'll be kind of pulling the tempo back a little bit, but just each one of those guys will kind of be on their own, kind of plan of attack to see where they are throughout the week, and we'll keep everybody posted on that injury report.
So will they do I don't know what they would be listed as, but will they participate in the walkthrough?
I believe they will, yes. But as I said, we'll keep you guys posted via the injury report.
Kevin, where's your emphasis on physicality showing up the most so far in the first 3 games?
Shoot, that's a hard question to answer. I've seen it in all 3 phases. I've seen it along our offensive line and tight ends and the way we're running the football, the receivers role in the run game. I've seen it defensively with the way we're able to. It's not just scheme. It's guys, setting edges, getting off blocks, playing the cutback, tackling. That's all shown up. And then I think in the kicking game, we've played some, teams with some impact players in that phase, and have been able to, the one-on-one matchups that have existed, our guys have fought really good fights and made plays, and the kicking game and the way Ryan's kicking it, helping with field position here and there. And I think it's shown up across the board. My challenge to the team is, once again, last Sunday means absolutely nothing. The first 3 games of the season mean absolutely nothing if we don't start, continuing maintaining our play style. But hopefully soon enough we can start talking about it being the standard of how we play every week.
Scaling back a nod to the 2 weeks of style of play, like is a walkthrough on a Wednesday in week 4 part of the plan to not go full tilt each and every day, Kevin?
I think every single week is its own, but part of the challenge as you're learning more and more about your team is, can we use the best reps you can possibly get are the previous Sunday or the 3 collective Sundays that we've had, where to the previous question, we have demonstrated those things. Can we now have a slightly different way of preparing from a standpoint of making sure we get healthy in some spots as we work through kind of the week, individual guys that are dealing with some things, because I do know we're going to need to be as close to 100% to have a good chance to go compete to win a football game. So I think as this team starts to handle the success we've kind of had, like I said, it means nothing, and now I want to see, can we handle it in a way that shows that we've got the ability to maintain it by how we need to prepare throughout the season.
With all the discussion about 2 high safeties around the league, have you, your scheme, seen any difference in the way teams are approaching you guys with the 2 high?
Yeah,
Not 2 high?
I know that's been a major talking point. We worry about ourselves, but I will tell you this much: from basically about early September of 2022, we've seen a lot of the things being discussed is what we tend to deal with on a weekly basis because of Justin and our other personnel. So it's been something that we're not shocked and we're not surprised by it, and we feel like we've got plenty of logged reps against it to try to move the football.
Kevin, you anticipate opening P.J. Hawkinson's practice window next week, or how's he doing generally?
He's doing great. Yeah, I'll continue to defer to the medical staff on that. Hoping to get TJ up and rolling as soon as possible, and he's done everything we asked. He's itching to get out there. He's asking great questions in meetings. He's helping with that tight end group. Really, just I felt a leadership role through him, from him throughout his whole rehab. He's been totally present, almost to the point where sometimes other than not having a really great player on Sundays, he's so involved, in the meeting room with his teammates and we're really with our football team that you forget sometimes that he's not out there until you kick the ball off and you think about what it's going to be like when we get him back there. Just like hopefully getting Jordan back out there this week as well will just help because clearly Speedy's done a phenomenal job. Brandon Powell, Trent Sherfield, Josh Oliver, Johnny Munt, all these guys have made their impacts with opportunities, which only makes our offense that much better.
You mentioned on Monday your communication with some of the players on defense and just getting their feedback. I was wondering if that's something that's developed for you over the last couple of years, or that's something that you always kind of have had in mind to get their feedback on your offense?
No, I think just as you go and you start to form relationships with people, I've always talked to guys like Harrison Smith about, in training camp, what's that kind of feel like to you? What would make that harder? What would make that more difficult? And then see if we can implement some of the thoughts that they have. But really, I think it's unique to our personnel here to have guys like Bobby McCain giving us great looks, or if a Caleb or Fabian steps in for a few plays, giving us some looks. Like, what does that feel like to you guys? And their football intelligence is off the charts, and they, we tell our guys those are development, those are real reps. We're competing when we do those things. And so, we're getting to see it versus real technique and fundamentals that we may see when we kick it off each and every Sunday. So I just think the longer you do it, you're trying to make things the best version of whatever the idea was, the play was, whether it's a core principal play or it's something that you're kind of designing for the week. You can get a lot of great feedback, and it's been super, super positive and helpful for me and our coaches for sure.
Kevin, when you were doing your work on Dart,
each situation's kind of its own. Mark, I just looked for so much of my evaluation of Sam and just my overall kind of, plan bringing him here was based on seeing the physical talent, seeing the athletic ability, seeing the arm talent, and him making some really impressive throws, and then trying to evaluate what was the why behind either a mistake that was made, what was the situation of the game, was he being asked to do too much, or was he just trying to, stay competitive in some football games there by making some throws. It all comes back to Sam here being totally present and worrying about his job here within our offense, which has been much more than just managing the game, which he's done a very nice job of. It's been much more than just handling adversity and moving on to the next snap. It's been, being really impressive throwing the ball, hitting open guys, playing with great rhythm. His technique and fundamentals that we've stressed since he got here have shown up in games. And now, my challenge to Sam is not unlike the rest of our football team. How many times can you go out there, even when in this league, this league is really set up to build up a team for to hopefully be able to have a front row seat for the fall. The front row seat happens because people are expecting it. How do we fight that? How do we make sure that we prepare the same way we did for the opener or for San Francisco or Houston? And then the hard part is the discipline to do that. And that's Sam, that's every player on our team, that's coaches, that's all of us making sure that we have the laser focus to just have a really good Wednesday. We got a ton of respect for this opponent. Really good team, really well-coached team. Divisional game. There's really not much else that needs to be said other than can we go out and prove it for 3.5 hours on Sunday once again? Because I'm really I don't think this team has any feeling in them right now that what we previously have done has any effect or bearing on what will take place this weekend.
Last few questions.
how do you guard against that, though? Like, it's 3 games, it's been great so far, and not so much with coaching staff, but with players, because, you know, you guys are rising in the national rankings, you're also the topic on all the shows, and you coach a bunch of young guys that clearly watch those shows. Like, you can't tell them to not watch them. How do you message that to keep them grounded when they're being told by the rest of the world that they're fantastic?
Yeah, part of it was trying to get out in front of it. The belief I had in the team, how I talked to them on the first team meeting of training camp was you never want to get in the predictions business as a head coach, but if you feel strongly about something, I believe in communicating that to our players, because then I can say right about the time that everybody wants to get on board with what we got going on, we have built a foundation in the absence of worrying about those things, thinking about those things, allowing them to affect our thoughts and actions on a daily basis. I can now circle back to those discussions, and I think it hits home if we remember, where we're coming from. Well, it's all positive. I love that. It's absolutely a benefit and a credit to what these players have done. But at the same time, it also circles back to smart, tough guys that love football. And that doesn't mean that they love hearing their name, on a TV show, or they love reading their name in an article about how great they are. They're smart, tough, and love football, and they're great teammates. So let's circle it back to doing it for the guy next to you. What's their why? Tapping into some of those things. So we always keep it the narrow focus when it becomes so easy in this league with how things are set up to start thinking big picture. If we need any example, we can just look to last year when we fought our way back to get to 6-4, and how did it finish from there? Maybe we didn't do a good enough job focusing on the present and being right where our feet are planted every single day. So we've got some experience in that locker room of guys understanding it. And then it's my job to make sure I'm finding unique ways and to message to the team and challenge them and put it right out there in front of them that these pitfalls are there. Are we going to avoid them or not?
Kevin, I know you've talked about it a lot, but with Aaron going back to Green Bay this week, what has he meant to you and to this team?
I think, he's meant, it's hard to even put into words what he's been able to do, not even in between the white lines, which has been spectacular, but just his fit, the type of person he is, the way the guys already look to him as kind of the standard of how we want to do things around here, and he's been here for 3 games and a training camp. So I think Aaron Jones is a special, unique human being that just happens to be, one of the best in the league at what he does, and he loves football. He's an absolute great teammate, and I think he was the same thing for the team we're playing this week, and I think it'll mean a lot to him to go up there, and I know he feels incredibly strong about the organization that Aaron comes from and the fan base, and I think he's having a blast though, forming that same dynamic with our fans and our team and our organization, and he's doing it on a daily basis, and it's absolutely awesome to watch.
Mark, last one.
Kevin, some of your predecessors have had a love-hate relationship with kickers. Some of them have had hate relationship with kickers. How do you, what's your philosophy? How do you handle kickers? Do you leave them alone? Do you challenge them? Do you coddle them?
Yeah, I think you guys can probably think back to training camp, some of the unique kind of different ways. It's not just a field goal period. It's a team drill where we might be in a 3-way situation where it could be a long field goal, a punt, or we may go for it on 4th down and nobody knows really what's coming, and I'm just kind of manipulating the drill to challenge our whole team to be invested and involved in that part of it. And then Will's kicking 50-plus yarders if he's kicking at all, and he doesn't know when it's coming. He's got to jog out there just like a game. So there's ways that you can kind of build up different aspects of his confidence, but you also need to go get the right kind of guy, which mental makeup and confidence in his ability, an unwavering confidence regardless of if, as I've told him, I'd be great with it if he doesn't miss a kick all season, extra point or a field goal. I'd be great with that if that's what happens. But at the same time, I know he's going to respond and not miss a beat. If he does miss one or he doesn't hit one well, doesn't concern me in the slightest. And every time he kicks, I'm normally standing right there trying to get in his head anyway. So it's probably not anything he's not used to. This guy's made of the right stuff, and we're lucky to have him.